Hi, I'm Richard and welcome to my space station modelling tutorial part 1, and in this part we're going to model something very simple, the floor tiles. So let's get started. Hi and thanks for watching. So first of all, I'd like to make a quick apology. I haven't made a tutorial stroke video in about 3 weeks now, and basically I could come up with some excuses. I have got an excuse. I have been looking and trying to find something really interesting to do in Unity, but I have drawn a blank. That and the fact that it's the Christmas season has meant that my time has been somewhere distributed between going out and partying, buying presents, and generally just amusing myself and not doing things on YouTube. But I'm back, and the thing I thought I might have a go at is creating a space station, a sci-fi space station, and one of the staples of all space stations is of course the floor. Now this one here is something that was created using just one quad. I don't know if I can show you in Substance Painter, but using one quad here. I had a lot of trouble getting this honeycomb going. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use a diamond shape for this tutorial, because I think the honeycomb is just a little bit too confusing for the tutorial, but I encourage you, if you're interested, I can certainly show you how to do that. Basically it's hexagons, right, in a sort of honeycomb fashion there, and then we'll texture this in Substance Painter here now to create this rather cool looking effect. Like I say, we're using normal maps here. If you're wondering how we managed to make this look so sort of beveled like this, it's because we're using normal maps. And as you get closer to horizontal, you'll see that it's actually just one flat plane. Right, so without further ado, let's head over to Blender and get this started. Okay, I'm using Blender 2.78a. One thing just to bear in mind here on Blender is that I just pressed N to get the properties up there, is that I'm going to be using metric units, and so go to the scene tab here. This is slightly different for the newer versions. I don't think it was as detailed as this before, but it's the length we want to change to metric. And you can see now that we've got all of our dimensions in meters, which is, I believe one Blender unit is considered to be one Unity units, which is 1 meter, so I don't think it makes a huge difference, but it's nice to see the M there just to see the gauge of size. So let's get rid of the cube and we'll add our plane, add a mesh, add the plane there, and then what we'll do is we will grab that. Let's rename this first of all. So we'll call this floor tile, like so. And what we're going to be doing, like I say, basically this floor tile is just going to be a single quad, so super low poly. If you want to, you can go to town and maybe raise it yourself, but I'm going to be using normal maps for this. So what we'll do is we'll just do Shift D and then press Z to put it up on the Z axis, and we'll call this one Tile Edge. And if we tab into edit mode, we'll press 7 to go into top view and press numpad 5 to go into orthographic. Alright, I don't know what that 10 centimeters means. Maybe that's what each of these little units here is 10 centimeters, which reminds me, before we forget anything, let's actually just tab out, delete that, and let's just rescale this to 1 meter by 1 meter, and then just do Control A, rotation and scale, and then we'll do Shift D again to duplicate, press Z to pull it up, and we'll have to rename that again. So what do I call it? Tile Edge or something like that. Right, now if we tab into edit mode, what I will do is I will press I to inset, somewhere about there, and then I to inset again, and then what I want to do is I want to what I'll do I one more time like that. Alright, and what I want to do then is just Control Tab 3 to go into face select mode, or you can go down here and just click the face there, and if I just press GZ and pull that up, let's have a look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Now I think maybe I've gone a bit too much in the tiling. So what I'll do, let's just do this. Let's just scale this out like that, and also that one, scale that out like that, and actually just Control Tab 2, just go to there and just it's not letting me do those ones. Let's just select those and just scale those out as well. Okay, something like that. That's a bit better. There we go. I'm a bit happier with that. Okay, so we've got ourselves our edges here, and like I say, this is going to be used for a normal map. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tab in and we'll just do Control Tab Face, Control Tab 3, and I'm just going to click there and click X, delete faces. So we've got a see-through there. So let's create the I'll say honeycomb. I'm going to do a diamond shape for now. So what we'll do is we will make sure we are in object mode and do Shift A, Mesh, Plane, And let's just have one, just grab that on the Z there. So we've got the front view. I'm going to scale this. Excuse me, I pressed scale, didn't I? Scale it right down until we've got a size we like the look of. Keep going, something like that. Actually, let's not do that. Let's make it full size and then rotate it 45 degrees. Now you think, why are you doing that, Richard? And the reason is because I know the size of this is currently 2 meters by 2 meters, and I'm going to be using some array modifiers on it in a minute. So what we'll do now is we'll just tab in here and press I once and just scale that down, and then GZ to pull the middle section up like that. How's that looking? Yes, that's fine. And then what we'll do here is we're going to add an array. The reason it's gone in that shape there is because I need to do Control A, rotation and scale. I do that a lot. If you watch my tutorials, you know what I'm talking about. Let's just do a couple of those so that we know that's the horizontal. In fact, I'm going to call that AH for array horizontal on the modifier. Rename that, and then we'll go array, and this one here we're going to do this as on the y-axis. So let's just make that 1 there and set that to 0. And clearly that's not correct, so we need to make that 0.5. Is it? What? Let's just see what size it is. It should be a stat. It's not relative offset, is it? Excuse me. It's going to be a constant offset of 0.5. Oh, it's not 50 centimeters. Is it 1? And then this one here up. It's not 1. Okay, let's just see what size it is. Let's see if we can work out what it should be. Just by dragging these. It looks like it's 1.5, doesn't it? It's 1.4 and I don't know why. I'm sure somebody can tell me. 1.4. Okay, and now if I just scale that down, there we go, we can do that, you see, and it'll keep together. So we can now just start bringing these across like that. Hang on. If I just do Alt H, sorry, excuse me. Where did the other ones go? Oh, of course, it's very big, isn't it? So now we can, sorry guys, I'm messing around. Scale that right down, zoom in, scaling right down. There we go. And we need this to take up this whole area here. Don't worry the fact that it's going over, it doesn't matter. We just need to keep this moving across up that way, and also on the horizontal. So, like so. I'll just keep grabbing it until, yeah, so you see that's not enough on the vertical. I'll call that AV, shall I? Okay, and just keep whacking this up here. Let's grab it down, make sure it fits. And on the horizontal, going that way. There, are we all in? Let's do a couple more. Let's do 32, shall we? I like 32. Let's do 32 and 32. Okay. We've got our diamond shaped end through there, and you can see that, okay, yes, this has got a lot of bits either side, but that's absolutely fine. Let's save this. I'm going to actually call this floor 02. You would want to call it floor 01. I've created a space station folder even, so we'll save it in there in the Blender file. Okay, floor 02. Looking lovely enough, I think, for now. So let's apply these. And if we tab in, what we need to do is select everything and click remove doubles, because it has actually made those as separate objects, and now it's joined them all together like magic. Okay, so with theory, if I grab that, other bits should grab as well. Okay, and if we're feeling, we don't have to. Do you know what? I'm gonna reopen this file, because I'm actually going to keep that. I'm not going to keep that. I'm not going to apply it. I'm just going to see what it looks like without. I know that the rendering is a bit slower, which is why I was thinking about this. Let's just grab that on the X and just pull that in a bit over there. Make sure that it all fits nicely, which it does. Right, so we've got everything we need for our very simple floor tile. So let's spin over to this one, which is our. Hang on, we should rename this one, shouldn't we? We'll rename that to. What do you call those? Tile segments. As long as it makes sense to you, I'm happy. And this is our floor tile here. So this is our one quad floor tile. So what we need to do is just create another window just by dragging the left hand little chevrons there, and then click over here and do UV image editor. And this will be the easiest unwrap in the world. We're just going to press U, unwrap, and there it is. Glorious. Look at that. It's unwrapped very cleanly. I'm going to keep it exactly on the edges. Sometimes I like to scale it in a little bit like that, just to sort of give it some breathing room, but we don't need to here. So we've unwrapped it. So what I'll do now is I'll create a new a new normal map, so we'll call this tile normal, and I'm going to make this 2048 by 2048, which is excessive, but we can always scale it later on. Okay, that's the thing about this, we can always scale these later on. So we'll say OK to that, zoom back out, and now what we do now is when we do a bit of magic. Okay, this is one of my favourite bits of the whole thing. So we're going to click on the tile edge, the tile segments, and make sure you click on the floor tile last. If you do, just unclick it and reselect it. Make sure it's the last one. Click on the little camera and slide down to the bottom bake option. We're going to click on bake mode and select it to normals. And the other thing we do is click on the selective to active. Now you've just got to make sure, there's something that can catch you out sometimes. You need to tap in here and make sure that the tile normal is the selected image. Alright, for this. Tab back out. Oh, now I've unselected everything, look, of course. So let's just do that again. Shift, shift, shift. Make sure that's the last one. And click bake. And let's see what happens. It's done something funky. You see here that it's actually overridden the floor tiles with the actual edge there. So what we'll do is we'll actually grab this on the Z, and that probably tells you that it works its way down. So this is the lowest priority, then this one, and then onto that one. So that's interesting, isn't it? I find that I would have thought it would have been the other way around, but there you go. Okay, so we'll click that one, and that one, and do bake again. Fantastic. Very happy with that. That's a clean looking UV map. Look, you have to go quite a way in before you start seeing any pixels. And we didn't need to apply the modifier, and it was nice and fast too. And I think that's very clean. I don't see any issues with that, any weird pixelation. So we'll save that. Save as image. So tile normal. Perfect. And what we'll also do is we'll create the ambient occlusion map. If you don't know what that is, bear with me. The way this is going to work, it's going to be slightly confusing actually, is that we need to create two ambient occlusion maps. I couldn't get this working properly. If you guys know how to do this, do let me know. So I'm going to click that one and that one, and I'll add so let's click on this actually first, and then we'll create a new file, new image called tile AO. We're going to call it tile AO edge. Okay, 2048 by 2. Let's keep it consistent, and then we will tab here and just do that, and then that. So just these two, not the segments. And under the bake mode, we're going to select ambient occlusion and click bake. And that will take a few seconds. Let me pause that. Okay, that's done. So we'll save that one. Save as image, tile AO edge, perfect. PNG. Click on that, and then we'll do the same for this. Okay. Before we do that, we need to tab in and add another one. Tile AO segments, and then we'll select that. Come on, that. Did I do this? I did not, I don't think. So let's quickly change that to. Oh, I don't think I added it. Excuse me. I think when I do that, I assume that it's going to create it, but I need to click OK there, and there we go. It's the segments. So now we can tab back out to the segments, click those two, make sure ambient occlusion selected to active, click bake. And this may take a little bit longer. Now that hasn't worked as I'd hoped, and the reason for that, I think, is because of I haven't applied the modifier. Okay, so can we stop this? There we go. Yes, that has stopped. Okay, good. So let's just tap. Yes, there's still that file there. So what we'll have to do, I'm just going to save this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to save the file, tab into here, and let's just go to the modifiers and apply them, and then tab in, select everything, remove doubles. I think that will make all the difference. Let's try it again. That and that. Back over to here and click bake. This doesn't hasn't made any difference, or has it? It's created a slight weirdness, hasn't it, on every so often on the lines. Not to worry, that's okay. It's not going to be that noticeable. Anyway. I'm not very happy with it though. Let's have a quick look at the top view while we're at it. This is one good thing about it. You can't really see it, can you? You can't see it here, so I'm not sure why it's complaining like that. I'm just going to tab back into it. Tab here. Come on, there we go. Tab in. I'm going to do remove doubles. I'm just going to change this to something like 1mm. That hasn't made any difference. Let's try 5mm. No, so they have all joined up correctly. So why have you done that then, eh? Why have you done that? Just to wind me up, eh? Or maybe they are genuinely slightly further apart. If they are, I can't see it. Well, let's just see how this goes. Let's see if that actually looks okay. It's the ambient occlusion, so it's not going to be massively different. But in order to make this work now, let's just save that as well. Save as image, tile AO segments. There we go. And in order to make this work, we need to edit this to create one AO file. So I'm going to quickly spin into GIMP. If you haven't got GIMP, get GIMP. It's a great little package. It's a free one. It's Photoshop. You can use Photoshop as well if you like, but I'm going to be using GIMP today. So let's let this load, and I will come right back. Okay, so I am back here. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Mild panic. Yes, we are. So we're going to go tile AO edge. No, so what I need to do here is I need to go. First of all, I'm going to do the edge. Just drag that in. It'll load it up, and then if I just do shift drag into that one, I think it'll add it as another layer. There we go. Actually, we want to flip those over, so that's the high one. Make sure right click that it's got the alpha channel, and it has. And so in theory, all I should need to do is just drag that down across there like that. And this is going to be a little bit of positioning skill here. I think I might zoom in a bit, you see, and this is a good thing about, I hoped it was a good thing. There we go. I can just grab that edge there. Oh yeah, you can see it's well off. So drag that down like that. I'm going to delete this in a second, basically to reveal the edge underneath. There we go. I can just drag that across. You see, it's not quite down, is it? Like that. Pull it to the top. That looks actually very good, didn't it? Fine. There. And if I click delete, hurrah! The underside reveals itself like magic. So let's save this. We'll save. What's it called? We'll call it tileao.xcf. So it's a GIMP file, and we'll also export to tileao.png. Export that. We don't need to save the alpha and stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that's the AO. Okay, so now we have everything we need. We have the where's Blender? Where are you? There you are. We have a normal map. We have a let's just touch out here. Let's just bring these up. We have a normal map. What are you being so mean to me? There we go. There's a normal map. We have an AO file, and we have our quad here. So the only thing that remains now is to actually export this quad in all its high resolution glory. So we'll just click, just type that out there. And we'll just do File, Export, FBX. Fluoro2.fbx is fine. Make sure it's selected objects and experimental. I think that's the way to go to get it into Unity. So we'll click Export FBX. Bash. Okay, and we've got ourselves, if I spin back to my folder here, our FBX file, which we can now edit in Substance Painter. So let's go over to Substance Painter right now. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen my tutorials before or haven't used Substance Painter before, please go ahead and buy this product. If you are serious about doing any game texturing, then you're going to need something. This is called a PBR software, and physically based rendering, so you can see on the fly what your end product's going to look like. There's a 30-day evaluation, so if you head off to the Algorithmic website, I'll put a link in there in the comments, but so you can certainly follow along with this for 30 days. I think it's about $100, so not a small amount of money, but you know what, save up some cash, do a little bit of work, clean some cars, do whatever it takes just to get yourself this software. I don't think you'll be sorry you did. So every now and again you just have to buy something, and I think this is one of those things, because at least for me, with my lack of skills, you're welcome to try and do this in GIMP, but I'm actually going to be using Substance Painter. So the one we had is fluoro2.fbx there, so we'll click open. 2048, that's fine, we can keep that there for now, and we'll click here OK. Actually, I just saw something I should have done as well, but I didn't do it. Okay, and here's our fantastic looking quad. One thing that I have to do now is you go to viewer settings. Let's just pull this up here and just drag the environment opacity so you can see it, and just down the blur a bit. There we go. There's our tile. Alright, but it's not looking like anything at all, and we kind of expect that because it's just a quad. So let's first of all bake this texture. I'm never quite sure why it doesn't give you this option to do this at the very start. And we'll click on 2048 by 2048, set anti-aliasing to 4x4, and then click bake. And I will come back when this is finished. It might take a minute or two. Be right back. I am back. I've got some errors there. I think I always get these. It can't find the vertex colours, which is fine. Just click on the shelf again. It takes forever to bake this. It's something to do with that anti-aliasing. It seems to take forever once I click on 4x4. I don't like to think what it would take if this was a high-res mesh, or whether maybe it makes any difference. I'm not sure. But let's save this straight away because I'll show you why. I'll just click save here, and we'll call it Fluoro. We're not in the right place. Let's go to Blender. Apologies, I had another space station folder that I was working on. There we go. We'll call this Fluoro 2. I think I called it. No, you may want to call it something else. Fluoro 2. There we go. That will give it a .spp file, which is Substance Painter file. And now what we can do is we spin over here. We should be able to just drag our tile AO and tile normal. Those are the only two we use, weren't they? Yes, they were. Into here, and we'll copy it in. It brings up this new menu now. This is a new thing, and these are actual textures. So we'll just select them as textures, and it gives us an option here. And we're just going to do it into Project Fluoro 2. Okay, and click on Import, and life is good. There's our two imports, and I think now if we go down to our texture settings, make sure that's selected here. If we go to Normal, we can select the tile Normal. Look at that! Look at that! Glorious! Suddenly it looks like it's got some depth. Actually, it hasn't, as you can see. And then we will also do ambient occlusion, which I hope it will let us do there. And you can see it's just kind of filled in the edges. It has a little bit of roughness to it. Can you see that? And yeah, I mean it's not perfect, but bear in mind if somebody stood up, it's going to be about there-ish. So this isn't the end of the world. But for a 2048 by 2048, I'm not hugely thrilled with how that looks, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Now let's start texturing this thing. Now I've realised something that might actually help us here to do this. In that I want to separate these two pieces out, the edging from the tiles. Now that's not going to be very straightforward in Substance Painter. So I'm spinning back to Blender. I'm going to click on this here. You'll like this. And we're going to type in here. I don't know if this is going to be helpful for anyone. Actually, what I will do is I'll just hide that and hide that. I'll just tab on this one. Control Tab 2. Select this outer edge and press F to create a face. All right. And if we spin over here to Materials in Blender, I'll create a new material. There we go. And we'll make this one a dark blue, whatever. There we go. And then I'll just tab it. Sorry, go into face mode. Select this face here, which looks like it's been selected. And I'll add another material. I will get there. Did that work? Come on, don't be cruel. Hello? I thought I clicked plus then. Plus. What am I missing here? Oh, plus there, sorry. Plus there, and then click new. There we go, sorry. I forget. And we'll make that red. Something very distinctive, okay? And then if we just click assign, it'll assign it to the selected faces. The first one is kind of like the default one. It does it for everything. There, you've got yourself a very funky looking colour system there. So I'll very quickly unwrap this. Excuse me, tab into edit mode. You unwrap. I've got a new one. New file. I'm going to call this colour mask. Tile colour mask. I'm spelling it in the British way. Do excuse me. CLOUR. It doesn't need to be that size, but we're going to make it that size anyway. 2048 by 2048, and then we click on. That is straight, isn't it? Yeah, good. We'll click over to here. We've got our. We'll just make sure that's the selected object, and we're going to do bake the textures. Don't need to do selective to active. Let's just try that. We've got the right file. Yes, we have. Let's click on that. Bake. There, and you can see it's created this horrible looking blue and red, but it allows us to create what's called a colour mask in Substance Painter. So let's just save as image tile colour mask. Thank you. And if we spin over to here again, we're going to have to bring that bad boy in. Where are you? Tile colour mask. Just drag that in. Let's do it there. It is a texture. We want to import it just to this project. Click import. Where'd you go? There you are. And now, if I just delete this painting layer, we can go to town. So we just click a new one, and let's just quickly give it a material, not a smart material. Let's give it a material of paintless steel. How does that look? That'll apply it to everything. I kind of like that. That could be potentially a very good tile edge. Yes. All right. Well, let's see how that goes. But it's applied to everything. Actually, I just want it to be to the outside. So what we can do here is we can add a mask, black mask. Add a black mask. Add a mask with colour selection. This is the one we're after. Okay. And now what we can do over here is you can say pick a colour. Pick your mask first of all, and there it is. that horrible thing there, and you pick colour. The reason I've gone for these extreme colours is so that there's no distinction, because I know that this hardness and tolerance can affect the which bits it picks. So I want to keep these very separate. There we go. And look at that. This did this last time. I don't know why it's done this. That was the same size. Okay, well I know how to fix it. That's worse than last time. It's actually gone inside here. That's basically not done the same job. There's a couple of ways we can fix that. I could just come here and just maybe make that a bit smaller. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go into here, and then I'm going to add a paint layer like that. This needs to be, let's just play around and see what it needs to be. It needs to be black, that's it. And doing that erases it there. You see that? There we go. So now I just need to select a shape that is a line. Just press Alt and Shift to get it into top view. I need to be in orthographic mode. Which one's that? Orthographic, there we go. Okay. And then if I press Tab, it will give me full screen. Control, that's it. Make this bigger until it's the size of that line there, and then just start there-ish. Click there, and then go all the way across over to there. There, this is very annoying. Very annoying. Do the same over this top side. Click there. Shift Control actually will keep it in a straight line. Like that. And then we just need to rotate it. So let's just press Tab here. Change this to 90. I'll do that. This annoys me because I'm kind of trying to show you how to do something and I'm having to work around it. So click on there. Shift Control all the way down. Like that. Oh, and that bit, look. And same over here. Let's tab in. Like that. Shift Control. Boom. Just tidy that up there. If it'll let me. It does. How does that look? I think we've got away with that. Thank you. Right. So we've got our outside edge. Now I'm going to add some dirt in a minute, but let's work on. So we'll just call that the tile. No, tile edge. I'll call it edge. In fact, can't we? It is the. Come on, double click edge. It is the tile by its very nature of the file, isn't it? So, oh, there you go. There you go. Right. Okay. So now we just need to work on this piece here. Well, there's a couple of ways we can do that actually. One is that I could put this one below it, like so. So I'll just create a new paint layer and just drag that down there. There we go. Then I'll just call this segments. And now we just need to, and because that's below this one will be on top of it, if that makes sense. So we can pick a few things. Have a little look. Let's try iron raw. Well, I like that already. And for the sake of speed, I'm going to go with it. There are some smart materials here as well you could have a play with, but this is the good thing. Let's just try steel rust. So I'll just delete that. No, let's just disable it actually. And we'll do steel rust. Where did you go? Let's do steel scratches. It'll take a bit of time because it's 2048 by 2048. That doesn't look too bad at all. I don't like the lines on them, but we can probably work on that if we just look at steel base. If we change projection to triplanar on all of these, dirt. So you just change this to triplanar. It attempts to merge the seams. Well, this is actually saying that there are no seams. Okay. Well, let's just have another quick look at this. Dirt. This is the dirt. So let's just. Okay, we'll go with that. Something's not right about this, and I can't put my finger on what it is. I think it's too shiny. Let's actually put the dirt or the scratches on those bits as well, which is fine. I'm liking the way this tile looks, though. I am indeed. Possibly a bit too shiny. I know that might be a problem in Unity, but let's bear with that. We don't want that anymore, so we can delete that. See how quick this is in Substance Pages to create something really cool. Right, so we'll just pull that up, and then what we'll do at the top here is we'll add one more layer, and we'll call this the dirt, and we'll add a black mask. So this is going to be dirt that's going to be applied to the whole scene, and it's this one here, and we want it to be black. Excuse me. Click on there, make it black, or at least a very dark colour, something like that. I don't think we want it to affect the metal or rough. We might want it to do the height as well. So what we'll do is we'll just click on here and click on Add generator. This is where this is actually, forget that. These generators, I'm a bit confused about this generator versus mask thing now that they've done here. I have to play with these and find the right one. So let's just try stain scratches. Okay, that's a really good start. I think that's probably going to be the sort of thing we're looking for. Let's just Control Z. That was stain scratches, wasn't it? So let's try subtle scratches. That's nice, actually. Is it me, or is there a really wonky, really weird-looking line in the middle there? See that? Am I imagining these things? I am, aren't I? I'm seeing that line in the middle. I'm hoping that won't be too obvious. Okay, we'll keep going. So what we'll actually do is we'll add another mask, which was the one we said a minute ago, which was this one, wasn't it? And we'll just pop that down. How do you move down? Move down. There you go. All right, that's done this. Actually, no. It's made that look a bit too. But what we also need to do here is click on linear dodge add, so it adds the ones underneath it. There, and we've got a pretty grubby looking tile, haven't we? Yeah? Might just make that. Click on here, you can actually drag this down. Maybe a little less more subtle. Less is more. There. Fab. Look, guys, I'm going to go with this. That's my kind of tile. That I might do one more thing actually, which is have another channel that darkens this whole thing up. And look at that, 'cause it's super shiny. I don't think that's going to be a good thing. So I'll have one more channel at the top. Fill layer. We'll call this metallic roughness. Rough. Oh God, Richard, roughness. And we don't want it to be the colour, so it's just the rough metal and the height there. And let's just tweak this so that it's a little bit metallic and very rough. There, so as rough as we dare. Okay, so not too much shine. What you can do if you're feeling fancy is just click on here and do something like a fractal sum. One of my favourites, like that. That makes it very, yeah. Not today. Not today. We're going straight forward today. Okay, it's pretty rough, but there is a bit of shine there if it's needed. So if you do that, it'll be fully metallic. Let's do that. There you go. You get a very shiny looking effect. So we don't want it to be super metallic. We want it to be pretty, not that much, pretty damn rough. There, good. Right, let's just save that. Control S. Okay, and then we will export these textures. So let's do that right now. File, export textures. Now I have one here called Unity. Where you go? You're here somewhere. Unity Standard Metallic Copy, and the only difference between that, if I go to, it's this one, is I've added a height channel. Okay, so you can do that just by clicking here and then just dragging one of these things here into that section there, and just say which channel you want it to be, the RGB channel, which basically means it's the image. Okay, so I've done that here. So I've got my Unity 5 Standard Metallic, and you can see here it's got the albedo and the transparency, although we don't use transparency, metallic smoothness, normal, and height. Okay, smoothness is what they call roughness in Unity. So if I now click, we want to change this as well, so we'll put this into the same folder as the space station, all the other stuff. Space station. It's annoyingly it's called default material, so I might have to sort that out in a minute. And that's the folder. Yeah, select folder, and then click export, and that should take a few seconds. There we go. Some warnings. I think that's probably something to do with the emission or something. Hang on, log. The opacity. Yeah, we've not done any opacity on this. There we go. So we've got ourselves a floor tile in super quick time. I'm really rushing through this because I was told that one of my videos takes too long, so I'm rushing. So apologies if you need any explanations on any of this. Please do let me know. See, I'm not really that height now is not showing so much that I've done the roughness. Let me just spin that roughness down again. Yeah, I think that's the difference, isn't it? I'll just quickly do that. Just file export again. And now, because everything's set, I can just click export. Okay, there we go. Just make sure I'm recording, guys. I am. Hooray. Right, let's do the tricky piece. Actually, it's very, very easy piece of getting this into Unity. Let's do that right now. Alrighty, I think it's time to create a new project for this. Did I click new? I think I did. Am I logged in? My account? Yeah, okay, I probably need to log in. I'll do that later on. So we'll call this Space Station. I'm never sure whether I should save the Blender files in the same folder as the Unity folder, because if you do that kind of thing you can edit it in Unity, but the trouble is you end up with really large unnecessary files that you're not going to be using in Unity. So I think for now I'm going to copy them across. It's not hugely efficient, because the good thing about Unity is if you save files then it automatically updates them. So let me have a think about that, but for now let's just copy those across. So I'll go over to here to Space Station, and what was it, the ones we were after? All of these. Oh, it does call it Fluoro2, there you go. Those are all the files we need, and the FBX file. That's right, that's all we need. So I'll just Control C that, and I'll spin over to Unity. What was it called? Space Station? Space Station, there you are. Assets, and so we'll create a new folder in here called objects. I'm not hugely happy about that. I might rename that yet. No, think about this. Don't rename it. Let's call it models. I want to call it models. This models seems a bit strong, but later on we'll be coming through that, and then we'll have a new folder in here called floor. And then finally we can paste that in. Okay, so we've got a fluoro2.fbx. We've got all these funky files here, which are huge, by the way. Oh, the height's not very big. Metallic smoothness is... oh, I guess we set that to one standard colour, didn't we? And normal. There we go. The normal's looking great. All right. So that's our file there. That's our stuff in there, into the Space Station folder. And like magic, Unity will update. It's not magic, but it is cool. One of my favourite pieces. So what we can do now is just click on floor and then bring this Fluoro2 in. Hopefully it's just the tile. Yes, it is. If you don't click that selected objects only, it'll bring everything in, including the blooming lamps. Okay, so there it is. Look at that. Look how fantastic it looks. No, it doesn't. Okay, so the other thing we need... Actually, I'm going to delete that folder as well. Why did it brought that in? That's curious. I'm curious by that. I didn't ask it to do that. I'm going to delete this. Maybe you guys can spot why that happened. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, and this gives sure enough. Oh, maybe it creates a material because it hasn't got one. Okay, that's fine, but we're going to create one here. Create a material. Right clicking down here, and we'll call this floor tile material. I never know whether to put material at the end, so please, if that's annoying you, please let me know. And we can just start dragging these in now. We can use the standard shader that comes with Unity. So just drag the albedo transparency in there. Metallic smoothness in there. The height, that in there, and the normal map there. It's probably going to complain that it's not in the right format, so we'll just click Fix Now. And then if we just get our floor material and pop that in there, drag it across, hallelujah, look, there it is. There's our floor tile. Now, it's hard to know how big that needs to be, bearing in mind we haven't got any kind of points of reference. But for me, that's actually a really kind of clean looking floor tile. It does have that raised look effect on it, I think, don't you? Let's pull that down a bit so you can see it. Hang on. There. Oh, I think it might be rather large. I'm not sure. Scale's 1 by 1. We'll see. It's 1 meter by 1 meter. We know this because we did that in Blender. So that is our floor tile. So on the next piece, we're going to work on something, or we're going to work on the walls, on the sides. So we won't work on the roof. We'll just work on the side panels, which I think we can do. We can potentially reuse some of those same colours and palettes. For now, we can do this. Actually, one thing I was thinking is that maybe this edging here, we could create a few of these materials and could change them depending on what section of the space station we're in. Just something to think about. Thank you guys very much for watching. I am up to 430 odd subscribers. I cannot thank you enough. I don't know what it is that I'm saying or doing that makes you want to keep watching these videos, but I wholeheartedly appreciate it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Am I doing the right thing? Is there something you'd like to see? Is there something you'd like to see in the space station? Something you'd like me to model? Let me know, guys. All the best. See you next time. Bye bye.